Welcome to Wannabe Clutter Free, formerly Wannabe Minimalist, the podcast for busy families who are tired of the chaos, fed up with being overwhelmed, and ready to enjoy life again. Each week, we talk about how to let go of the clutter so that you can focus on the things that actually matter. And it's not just physical clutter. We talk about the mental and emotional stuff too, because if it's holding you back, it's time to ditch it. I share what I've done in my own life to declutter, organize, and calm the chaos, but you won't just hear it from me. There are amazing guests too. It's practical, doable, and simple for those of us that want to be clutter-free. As we gear up for the holidays, I've got a great gift suggestion for all of the sports fans in our community. Or maybe your partner is the one that loves game day and wants so badly for your kids to enjoy it too. If that's the case, you've got to check out Future Fans. It transforms the way kids learn about sports through storybook-led activity boxes so they learn the game on their own terms and become fans alongside you. I've got to tell you, trying to teach our daughter about football was frustrating to say the least. But thankfully, I found Future Fans. The genius of Future Fans lies in its simplicity. For instance, instead of boring explanations about downs in football, kids play a beanbag toss game. They get 4 tries to make a toss, mimicking the 4 downs in football, and score points just like in a real game. And it all ties back beautifully to football through a captivating storybook that guides the entire experience. Since using Future Fans, Monday Night Football has turned into family time. And I'm not the only one raving about it. Future Fans has a stellar 4.9-star rating and has snagged several awards. Designed for kids under 10 and their sports fan adult, it's only $49.99 at futurefans.com, and you can use code WANNA to save 10% off. Again, go to futurefans.com, use code WANNA, W-A-N-N-A, and start unlocking a lifetime of memories around sports this holiday season. Well, hey there, my friend. Welcome back to the show. I'm Deanna Yates, and you are listening to episode 235 of the Wannabe Clutter Free podcast. On today's episode, I am chatting with Lindsey Myers about our clothes and our color palettes and why color is so important. It might actually be more important than you think. And if you want to make changes in your closet, Lindsey's going to show us some ideas, and they might not be as difficult as we're making them out to be, as we talk about, because this is one of my insecurities. So if you want to hear kind of why I don't like shopping, well, we get into that a little bit too. All right, but before we do get into that conversation, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. You are the reason I do this podcast, and so I hope you like what you hear. And if you do, there are a few things you can do to help the show. One, you can share it with a friend. Helps you get an accountability partner with you on this journey. If you are needing some help and accountability and motivation, one of the best ways you can do it. Number 2, you can leave a rating and a review for the show. That just gives me the warm and fuzzies and helps the show as well. And you can also comment and share about the show on social media, or the easiest one, you can simply subscribe. All of those things can help out the show and me. But that is enough housekeeping. Let's learn more about my guest this week. Lindsey Myers created Colorful in 2020 while navigating being a new mom. Pouring any energy she had into her kids, Lindsey slowly realized that she had nothing left for herself. Hope came crashing into her life when she learned color analysis, a process where each person has a set of colors that objectively flatters them. From there, she was hooked. Through sharing her findings on Instagram, Lindsey quickly was flooded with requests and became a CEO overnight when Created Colorful was born. Its goal is to help you love how you naturally look by providing real and honest shopping and styling advice, no matter your size, age, or season of life. We get into it in this conversation, and I think you're going to really like it. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Hi, Lindsey. Welcome to Wannabe Clutter Free. How you doing today?
I'm great. Happy to be here.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you. We are going to talk about our colors. And I know I've talked about this on the show, I think one other time, but I just love this topic and I love how it's different for everyone. So before we get into that though, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what drew you to color analysis?
Absolutely. So I was telling you earlier, I'm in New York now, originally from North Carolina. I have 2 kids. They're 5 and 7 now. But I started color analysis when I was in the thick of the toddler and baby stage. So I was postpartum with my second. And let me tell you, that transition laid me out. Thinking for 2, needing something at the same time was really hard. And that reflected not only in my confidence, but definitely what I was wearing, because I couldn't make any more decisions. I just was wearing the same black nursing tank top and gray sweatpants every day, like no makeup, just rolling out of bed, surviving, repeat. And that was the backdrop for when I found out about color analysis, when my friends got her colors done. And I had previously done pet portraits, and I liked painting. I liked color. So I was like, oh, what am I going to be? I'm probably a winter, which is like the ones that wear black, because I wore almost all black. And a quick Google search told me that redheads very rarely are winters. So that kind of started the whole special interest deep dive into everything color analysis. So now every night until 3 a.m., I was researching it. Once I figured out what my colors theoretically were going to be, I went and tested it. I went to Target and I bought a rust color t-shirt for like $5, and I put it on. And let me tell you, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like still pretty. Like everything had changed. I had felt so shaken, but like I looked and I could see like the warmth in my eyes for the first time, and I was hooked. It was such a big deal for me. It meant so much emotionally. And I feel like it was that little boost I needed to feel like I had enough hope to continue trying to like feel good about myself and be intentional about what I'm putting on, even though nobody was going to see me besides my kids. But just for me, when I passed the mirror, yeah, that's how I found out about it. And I felt like I was morally compelled to like tell my friends that this was a thing, because I'm like, you guys might be wearing something that you don't even realize is washing you out. And you're looking in the mirror thinking, I'm ugly, I'm tired, I'm haggard. All those negative messages we tell ourselves that we wish we didn't, and we know we shouldn't, but you instinctively do when you look in the mirror and you feel off. And so that's how the PSA started, that rolled and tumbled and turned into a business, and then where we are now.
I love that. PSA. That's where the PSA started, and I just couldn't stop myself. So that's so fun. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take a quick step real quick back, though, for those that are listening that are like, great, I have no idea what you're talking about, though. What is color analysis, and how do you think it can help busy moms simplify their wardrobes? Because I am all about making things less cluttered in our life, making things easier. So help us with that.
Yes. So it's based in color theory, which is basically like when you have two different colors next to each other, when your eye observes them, they play off of each other. And if you have a dull color next to a vibrant color, the vibrant color is going to really stand out and catch your eye, and you won't be able to see the nuance in the dull color. But when it applies to people, basically there's certain colors that bring out your eyes, your skin's glow, and your hair, and make you the focus of attention inherently when people look at you. And everybody has like nuance to like their eye color, and sometimes a certain color will make it cloudy or like dull and muted, and another one is, wow, I had no idea you had those like yellow flecks in your eyes. Certain colors, they can make your skin look orange. Like when I wear gray, my skin will show up orange in photos. And certain colors, like for me, dusty colors make my skin look gray. So there's the dark side of it, like the negatives that can happen, but then the positives of when you're wearing your colors, like people compliment me like on the streets of New York constantly on the color that I'm wearing. It's something that people can sense on a gut level. They can tell when it's right. And it doesn't matter if you're wearing a $5 t-shirt from Target or some designer thing. You can be your own main character energy if you're wearing your colors. It's a fun tool to have.
That's awesome. Okay. I love that. And I love that I also used to wear a lot of black, and I am not a winter. I should not be wearing all black. But yeah, so that was a transition for me too, was learning like, oh, but I really like black. So I think you talked about why it's important for us to understand our colors, because obviously it's going to make us, and I've had those moments too, like you said, where you look in the mirror and you know you shouldn't be judging yourself, and you know you shouldn't be saying these negative things to yourself, but it's really hard to say like, man, I feel okay, but I look really old today. Like I look older than I feel. Like what's going on? Or gosh, why don't I feel like good about myself? And so it's interesting that it could be something as simple as changing your shirt could make a big difference in how you go about and present yourself to the world and present yourself, like you said, to yourself, right? Showing up for the important people in your family.
So much cheaper than a lot of the options that people throw at us. There's all these like weight loss things that are like really emotional and like maybe will or won't work. There's intense beauty regimen treatments, and I'm all for everybody do what you want to do that makes you feel great. But this is a very inclusive, anybody can do it at any budget thing that's also instantaneous. And I think that's the thing that's so special about it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about the different seasons. We just thrown out winter, right? Like I think we've both said that word, winter seasons. What are the seasons that people can look for?
Yeah. So if you think about all the colors, if you've ever like pulled up a color dropper and chosen among the infinite colors on your computer, the color analysis seasonal system divides them into 4 broad categories. I also, in the system that I use, it's actually 12. We break it up further. But winter colors are your jewel tones. They are bright. They lean cool toned from the spectrum from neutral cool to cool colors. Think ruby, like emerald, royal blue, black, and white. There's a lot of high contrast colors. And these kind of colors tend to look good on people who have a lot of contrast in their features, maybe a deep dark rim around their eyes, or I hate to get too far into saying this person who looks like this wears these colors because there's so much nuance there, but that's one set of colors. There's spring, which is also bright and bold colors, but they're on the warm side. A hot coral pink and like an electric spring green, canary yellow. These are the kind of colors that look great on springs. I think of it as like Lily Pulitzer kind of colors. There's summers, and they do well with these serene colors like dusty rose, lots of denims. Think of a soft white, things that have run through the wash a bit that are on the cool side of things. And autumns look good in the warmer, slightly muted colors. Everything that you think of as a fall color, like olive green, pumpkin orange, rust brown. These are all autumn colors. So yeah, because they're on a spectrum, you might not fall cleanly into one season or another. You might be in the middle. And we actually address that in our color analysis, like making it a little bit more tailored to you. But yeah, that's the basics of it. So if someone looks great in high contrast, bold jewel tones, then they usually will look not so great in faded colors, light colors, pastels. So for every color that's good, there's like an equal and opposite kind of color that's probably not going to work as well with you.
Great. So how do you find there's such like nuance in these colors? And like you just said, even in the summer colors where they get washed, right? Something looks better. It's been muted a little bit. So how do you start to find this? Because let's say you have your colors and you're like, great, now I got to go shopping, but fashions change every season and colors change every season. And if I wash it, it's going to be a little different. So how close to these colors do we need to stay in order to have them really pop for us? Because I think that's a concern. Well, at least a concern for me.
I think people, based on your personality, take it to different levels. Some people are like, oh, it's a mere suggestion. It's like the speed limit. Some people are like, oh, I'm going to be really close to it. Some people are like, screw it. So I definitely never want it to be something that like holds you back or makes you feel like you're in a box that you don't want to be in. There's also things like you can get a good lipstick in your colors, or like in the winter, a scarf in your colors, earrings, because whatever's closest to your face makes the most impact. So you can get a couple things that you just know are spot on, and they kind of give you wiggle room to like not know. Or there's a lot of trial and error. You put things on, you take a picture in it, and then you look at the picture compared to pictures of you and things you know are your great colors. And that's kind of like an easy way to be like, oh, wait, I'm looking better in this one than this. Maybe I should tweak something. But we just released these extended digital palettes. It has 120 shades. You can save it in an album on your phone. You can hold it up to items. So there's that. We also do blogs every week with Nordstrom by palette and Target by palette, the whole deal. So feel free to come to our blog. We have lots and lots of resources.
Oh, nice. So let's talk about how it can help women simplify their closets. Because I love a capsule wardrobe. I am all about trying to streamline what we can because it gets overwhelming for me. I will admit, clothing for me is very overwhelming. It's not something that I am naturally drawn to. I don't feel like I have a natural fashion sense. When it comes to putting things together. And so for me, a capsule wardrobe is nice because I know like I can just go to my closet and it doesn't matter and it all mix and matches and makes it super simple. And I think colors tie really nicely into that because you can say, great, here are the few colors I'm going to pick, and it makes that easy. So what are your thoughts on capsule wardrobes? I'm curious.
Yeah.
You don't have to even like them if you don't. Like, it's totally cool. But
no,
I'm just curious.
well, here's the thing. All the capsule wardrobes I ever saw represented was everything beige. And that's not my vibe because I'm a maximalist. I'm a eclectic, bordering on too much. And now that I live in New York, it's gotten even more intense because there's no boundaries here. But all that being said, now I live in New York and I have this tiny coat rack. That's all I have for my clothes. So the thing that I love about colors is if you start getting things in your colors, everything coordinates. So you really can't lose. Everything you put together, at least on a cohesive color standpoint, is going to look good. When I go get boots and I'm going to invest in a nice pair of boots, I'm going to get brown ones as an autumn because they're going to go with all of my olive greens, all of my tomato reds, all of my everything in my whole entire closet. So that is a really great aspect. If you start choosing things in your palette, your whole wardrobe becomes more capsule-like. And we also release capsules 4 times a year for every single sub-palette so that if you want like visual inspiration examples, of things that go together, we have that too. So I love a good capsule. And even when I buy clothes, like the way I think about it, and I didn't used to be a fashion girly either, it's been trial and error for me, is I get a new piece and I try and make 3 outfits out of it. Kind of spaghetti against the wall. I start trying on the new sweater with every pair of pants or bottoms that I have. And I have something that keeps me aligned with my own sense of style called the face test. Super simple. You just look in the mirror and look at your facial expressions when you try on something. And if you are like a little bit confused and hesitant looking, and you don't even have to know why, but it's just, okay, this outfit isn't working for me. But when you put on an outfit that you feel hot in, your face is going to smile before you even can put it to words. And so I have a photo album on my phone. I always take a picture, even if I don't have hair and makeup done or whatever. I'm just like, I have the outfit and I have an album on my phone. And those are the outfits I go back to. And my favorite pieces that make me feel so great, those are the ones that I build outfits around. And when I buy new things, like, what could I possibly wear that could go with my purple floral blazer that makes me feel so good? That's how I think about it.
Searching for the perfect holiday gift that keeps you connected with loved ones? Look no further than the Skylight Frame. It's not just a digital photo frame. It's a way to instantly share your favorite moments with family and friends no matter where they are. Imagine this. You take a photo and in seconds, it's displayed in stunning HD on a skylight frame across the country. Set up as a breeze, just under 60 seconds. No accounts or subscriptions needed. Just use the free Skylight mobile app or email to start sharing those special memories. And the design? It's absolutely beautiful. You can choose from 2 sizes, the original 10-inch or the larger 15-inch gallery frame, each with a sleek touchscreen that lets you swipe through photos, see new additions, and even double tap to send a thank you heart to the sender. It's an interactive experience that brings your photos to life. And the Skylight Frame fits beautifully into any home decor, standing alone or mounted on a wall. And for an extra special touch, when we gifted ours, we preloaded the frame with memories, making it the ultimate personalized gift as soon as it was powered on by the grandparents. And now, as a special limited-time offer for our listeners, get $20 off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to skylightframe.com/wannabe. That's skylightframe.com/wannabe. Get $20 off your purchase now at skylightframe.com/wannabe. If you're like me, you're probably juggling 100 things, but you still want to learn and grow. And if that sounds true, well, I've got something amazing to share. Masterclass has truly been a game changer for us. Recently, my husband and I dove into the mixology class on Masterclass. We've been shaking up fun new drinks right at home, and it's been a great way to reconnect again. And I'm also untangling the mysteries of beautiful spaces with the interior design class by Shay McGee. Masterclass is the ultimate online learning platform where you can pick up skills from over 200 of the world's top minds. It is the perfect gift for those people that have everything because it genuinely allows you to learn from the best to become your best. Imagine giving that kind of opportunity to someone you loved. With Masterclass, it doesn't matter if you're using your phone, your tablet, or your smart TV. You can dive into a world of knowledge anywhere, anytime. So this holiday season, why not gift a dose of inspiration? Right now, Masterclass is offering incredible holiday deals, sometimes up to 50% off. So head over to masterclass.com/clutterfree to find the current offer. That's masterclass.com/clutterfree for up to 50% off your gift of learning. Don't just give a gift, give the gift of possibility with Masterclass. Oh, I love it. And I think it's a different side of the same coin, right? I mean, I think it really is because a capsule to me doesn't have to be super Spartan. It doesn't have to be. I mean, I did travel Europe this summer with 14 pieces, and I've talked about it. And
Wow.
because we went for a month, and I didn't want to lug a bunch of stuff around. And so we each had a carry-on, made it simple. And so, yeah, so it was great. And it is possible. And I felt great in every place we went. But it's a lot of layering, and it really does come back to the color palette. And if the colors all go together, every single piece that I brought went with every other piece. And I could mix them up, and I could mix and match them, and I could change them up so that they felt different every day. And I think I only repeated outfits a couple times, and we were there for 27 days. So it's really,
Wow.
It is possible.
Now, hold on. Because you said that you were like, didn't know what you were doing. And here you are making a 12-piece capsule to go all around Europe. You loved everything. It reminds me of something my friend Paul, who's a stylist at Herb Suburb Style, is his handle. He says if we just put the level of intentionality into our everyday around the house clothes as we do when we're going on vacation, like we may be missing out on a bunch of joy that we could have, like in our athleisure set or in whatever you're wearing, work from home, like, because it's like, well, for me, I think the hang up is it's a lot of work. And so it's like, this shouldn't be this much work. But like nobody who has an outfit that you look at on Pinterest and it's like put together, nobody just has some magic gene where they just stumble into outfits like that. Like you think about it, like, okay, what could go with this? But like, it's almost for me been like, once you're on that track of like being curious and playful and like, what could go with this? And how could I narrow this down to 12 pieces? It gets you past your like, whatever emotional holdups keep you from investing time in yourself and how you feel about yourself. And it gets you into that creative, playful zone. And some of my favorite outfits have come out of a situation like that. And I think a lot of people can do that if they just are able to be like, okay, this is going to be a lot of work. It's not because something's wrong with me that it takes a lot of effort. It just takes a lot of effort. But I can wear those outfits all winter long, you know?
That is a good point. And I think it's because it was easier for me. It was summer, right? There was less stuff. So I do need to do the same. Yeah, it's a good point. It is a good goal for me to take that same intentionality and do it for my winter gear and reassess. And I can't complain. I live in San Diego, for crying out loud. I get to wear 90% of my things probably year-round. Maybe not 90, maybe 80%. But still, Pareto principle. I get to wear 80% of my stuff year-round, right? I should be more playful with the 20% and look at it. Just kind of more of that. Like it is a playful moment and bring some joy into it versus the drudgery of shopping. Because I'm not a shopper. I don't like shopping.
Yeah.
It's not my jam.
What is it for you?
What is it about shopping that I don't like?
Yeah.
Part of it is spending the money. Like I want to make sure that I get the value for like what I'm buying. Part of it is, a lot of it I think comes back to the rewearability, or like the fact that I want to be able to wear things over and over and over again. And I don't want them to wear out so quickly, because then that just makes me feel crummy for the environment of like having to discard this stuff that I know that's going to go in a landfill and all the stuff that I've learned. It's like too much. Right? It's like,
Right.
too much. So it's harder for me to say like, oh, well, those pants are cute. I did actually go, my mother-in-law was in town and we went shopping, and everything I picked up, the first thing I did was look at the label, and I'm like, nope, plastic. Like it's all polyester. And it was just like, oh, it was just so disheartening. I did get a really cute silk tank top though. That was nice. But like, other than that, it was just kind of like everything just felt like I didn't want to contribute to the noise and the clutter in the world. So I was struggling with that.
Yeah. I think so many people can relate. Yeah. That's hard. I mean, think of all the things you're thinking through just to get out of
just
the
to buy a
store,
shirt.
You know, just to buy a shirt. It's something that I've been like thinking about, is like sometimes we think of shopping and it's like just shopping on the general internet at large, and it's just overwhelming because you're filtering through all the stores and all the sites. For me, I like to pick like 2 or 3 brands. I look in my closet. I'm like, which 2 or 3 brands do I go back to? Maybe it's the fabric quality or their ethical practices. It's different for everybody. The sizing, the silhouettes they tend to have. And kind of starting with just those stores is one thing for me that just kind of takes away some of the mental noise. And maybe that means I don't go get the exact, like if I'm like, oh, I would love to have a like red sweater that's this and that. Maybe I kind of put that on my mind and just start at that store. And like, this is a store that I can agree to all of their things and stand by it. I already know my size, and kind of look around in there and see what in there could go with things you already have is like one thing that helps. But yeah, I think you're tapping into something real, like, especially if you're environmentally conscious. It's, you know, sometimes it's, wow, you even like look up a brand that is saying that they're environmentally conscious and they're not. Thrifting is always really fun for me. I mean, granted, I live in New York.
Now that for me, so I will say the thrift stores around here are not super great. And my sister loves that. She is such a good like treasure hunter, right? Like she is so good at picking out the gems.
About it.
For me, it's overwhelming. Yeah, she enjoys it. I so want to be a thrift store lover. And I love the concept of them. But gosh, is it hard? Do you have any tips for like how to not get so overwhelmed?
I do. I actually have a whole episode on that in my Love Your Closet course. Because I go to a lot of thrifting, but it's different for me because I like the hunt of it. Like I'll go to like, you would hate, this would be your worst nightmare. I'll go to like 6 different thrift stores. I'll have to walk like miles in that day. I'll come back and I'll have walked 5 miles and I went to 6 thrift stores and not gotten anything. And it's just I enjoyed the like what if of it. Yeah. So if you don't like the thrift store, you don't like the thrift store. And my biggest tip would be just, hey, find something that works for you, that you love. Filtering by color does help, but thrift stores though can be notoriously bad for like sizing. So like in some ways they exclude a lot of people. So if you don't inherently like going to the thrift store, I wouldn't say anybody should morally just make themselves.
It's a struggle because I want to love it. Like I want to enjoy that. I want, my daughter was talking about how she wants to draw, and I'm like, well, then you're going to have to draw. So it's like, as I just say that out loud, it's like, well, you're going to have to go to the thrift store. And so I think part of it is just finding the time. Like I busy myself with work and, you know, doing stuff around the house and Instagram and those kinds of things. And so it's like, how do I, if it is something I want to do, how do I then factor that into life and finding a few good ones, right? Because I think that's also the trick. So it's just taking a day and driving around and figuring out ones that I like, or that might even have anything that I would want to buy.
Absolutely. Some stores are more curated than others. And I love a good curated store. When I'm frazzled, I'm like, okay, I could go to the one that has everything from every brand and all different like kinds of stores. Or I go to the one where I pay a little bit more money. And like, you know, that's up to everybody's, you know, budget versus time versus energy. They call it, like, I've been watching a lot of TikToks on like neurodivergent stuff. I think I have ADHD. I'm not positive, but they talk about how many spoons you have in a day, and basically spoons are like energy. So if you like start the day with 12 spoons, for some people thrifting is 1 spoon. For some people, thrifting is 10 spoons. And then you have the hard call with a family member, or you have all these things. So like we're all working with a certain amount of spoons each day.
Yeah.
And so you got to figure out if you want to love your closet, which things where's the entry point for you that costs the least amount of spoons that can get you one step closer. Something that I have this whole Love Your Closet audio course that I made. I'm not trying to plug it. It's just like, this is the heart behind why I made it. The whole first 2 episodes are just like counseling. It's just like, I actually studied counseling. That's what I have my master's in. But like, it's just look at your wardrobe. Is it someplace you don't want it to be? And like, how did we get here? Did we go through body changes, life transitions? Who we are kind of has evolved and changed as women. Like as we've grown up, you might have changed from working in office to working from home. And so there's a big like grieving element that I think has to happen first before you even really get into the nitty gritty of everything. It's almost like Marie Kondo when she's just like, you have to like clean everything, and kind of like, sometimes it can be almost like a spiritual component of like, so much of my identity is tied up in these things and they trigger me and different aspects. And so there's like sitting with like a good friend and just kind of like processing sometimes of like, how did it get here? What things about myself and my life circumstance might be playing into what's hard, or things about the things I believe in that are like contributing to this. I don't want to ever gaslight people that it's like, oh, just do this and that and wear this color and everything's going to be great. It's like, no, it's weighty for a reason. But in the same way, the transformation of working on your closet can be transformational in ways that spill into other areas. Because if it's been a neglected area, self-care in general has been a neglected area, it can be super empowering to like spend that time and get back in touch with who you are through what you wear. So I recommend starting with your laundry hamper. So whether you like it or not, what are the things you're wearing? What are you actually wearing?
Yeah.
No judgment.
Yeah.
Is it cozy for you? Is it whatever it is? And starting your wish list with replacing those items with happier versions of those items for you, whatever that means. So like whatever it is, like I have a nightgown that I wear a lot, and I went on Poshmark and I found a vintage, and by vintage I mean like 1990s Victoria's Secret nightgown that's like red silk with like a cowl neck and a low back. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm wearing a nightgown. Might as well rock the damn nightgown. It's crazy how much those little changes can kind of snowball and help you feel more motivated to like keep going.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. And it's so interesting because I think we all have our areas where we're really good and areas where we all feel like we struggle. And, I'm listening to you talk about this and I'm thinking, well, this is how I talk about our homes, right? And our stuff and the things we have in our homes and what we surround ourselves with. And all this stuff has energy. And it's really difficult if you've never done it. So I'm just putting the mirror up to myself, right? Like, Dee, look at this. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because once the snowball begins, it does get a little bit easier, and there might be plateaus, right? So as we've said, I went ahead and my summer stuff is great. Like I felt really good about that. And of course it needs a little bit more to be built out to feel more, I think, sustainable on a long-term basis. But at the same time, like I got to the first step and I'm like, okay. And I looked around and that's great. And now it's time to go maybe to the next step and say like, okay, now let's work on the winter stuff. And then maybe from there, it's like, okay, I love that laundry basket idea of like, these are the things you're already wearing. And I talk about, these are the things you're already using. So how can you then build around those things that you either have already decided you love and you gravitate toward them and you go to them all the time, or I use them because they're here, but I don't love them. So those are the things I obviously should replace first, which makes perfect sense. I think a lot of us go straight to our closet or straight to like the biggest room in our home. A lot of people start to declutter in their garage, which they don't need to do, which is kind of like the big stuff in your closet, right? Of things like I don't actually wear this stuff, but they're the bigger pieces and I see them. And so I want to replace these pieces, but they're not the ones that are going to make a difference in your everyday life, which are the comfy things I'm wearing around the home because I'm working from home, or the tops that I wear on camera because I'm recording a podcast episode. Those things that I'm doing every day, my entryway, my kitchen, right? The things we use all the time and the things we wear all the time are the ones we should focus our energy on, which I think is really, I'm getting all jazzed up because I'm like, ooh, I feel energized now. It feels less overwhelming. It feels like a roadmap. It feels like a plan for where to go. Yeah, so I like it. Awesome.
Good. I think our brains work similarly. Like, where's my entry point?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm assuming it's like a hostile person listening. It's like kind of hostile. Like, this whole thing is scary and horrible.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, here's one step.
Yeah.
Grab your 10 favorite items in your closet. Look at yourself in those. Get some hype and energy.
Yeah.
Build a couple outfits around those. And we'll deal with the rest later. You know, like, make sure that everything in your closet fits. If it doesn't fit, I recommend just putting it somewhere else, even if it's in a bin at the top of your closet or like somewhere else. So like, that's one easy thing.
Yeah.
If you love it and it doesn't fit, put that on your wish list. You know, I think we really need these like not top down things of like, oh, just have a perfect 40-piece capsule and you have to plan the whole thing before you can even wear one piece. It's not practical and we can't afford it. The way you're feeling about clothes is the way I feel about like lots of like home things. Like, my husband does all the cooking. And like, I know how to follow a recipe. I know I could. But again, with this like energy thing and like me maybe having ADHD, like the thought of going to the grocery store, planning it out ahead of time, going to the grocery store, picking it out, bringing it home, picking a time, you know, I'm a baby there. So like, I just don't want anybody to think I have my ish together. This has just been my special interest that I've been like learning about and practicing.
Yeah, none of us do, right? And that's kind of what I was like. I think it's nice though that people are listening to this going, oh, no one has every part of their life together. No matter what you see on Instagram, no matter what you see on TikTok, it's all we all have aspects where we excel and we all have areas that we want to work on. So if you are judging yourself today, please don't. Please, please don't.
We all have a Monica closet, right?
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be a physical closet. It could be just an area of our life where we are struggling, right? Or where we just shove stuff to deal with at another time. So absolutely. Yeah. So very cool. What happens if someone gets their palette back and they're like, really? These are my colors? Have you ever had that happen?
Have I ever had it happen? Yes.
Peppermint lattes, cozy nights by the fire, and seasonal dry air that brings sniffles and dry, cracked skin. Well, two of these things I love, and the other, well, for that, I turn to a name that's been trusted for over a century, Vicks. Their humidifiers aren't just simple solutions. They're proven to combat those tough winter ailments effectively. With indoor humidity levels dropping below 40% in the winter, issues like stuffy noses, dry, itchy skin, and chapped lips become all too common. Vicks humidifiers help maintain indoor humidity at an ideal 40 to 60%, providing relief from these discomforts. In our home, I've set up Vicks humidifiers in every bedroom. Adding Vicks VapoPads and VapoSteam into the mix transforms each room into a sanctuary of comfort. The familiar scent of Vicks Vapo takes me back to those childhood days when this was my mom's go-to for cold relief. It's a sensory experience that spells relief and care. If you're ready to transform your winter experience and bring soothing comfort into your home, there's a special offer on Amazon for the Vicks Cool Relief Humidifier where you can get 20% off your purchase. Just go to Amazon.com and search Vicks VUL 600 Cool Relief Humidifier. It has a blue tank with white in the center. Just be sure to click on that coupon to get the discount. You need this for wintertime comfort. What do you do? What happens if someone doesn't like the colors they are supposed to look the best in?
Yes, that's a thing. One, going back to the whole like, you can make these small changes in like your makeup that can like just help. So it's a tool. It is unfortunate if you don't like them, but like I said, there's 120 colors in your palette. You might not like even 80% of them, but there's probably like 3 or 4 colors that you really do like. And you might just get a blazer in that color, like something that you're going to wear, or like a coat that you're going to wear a lot in one of those colors, it's great. You can also wear, well, you can wear anything you want, but without it impacting your face that much, you can wear whatever on the bottom that you want. So get your favorite color in your shoes, in your bag, in your skirt, in your pants, anything but a turtleneck, really. I mean, that's the worst. You're asking for it. If you wear your worst color in a turtleneck, it's gonna make you feel a little bit haggard probably. But there's so many ways. And there's also sister seasons. So there's like your best colors, and your sister seasons are like related colors on that spectrum I was talking about earlier. And you can lean into one of those. They're like your second best colors. But what your best color is going to be is a color that you feel pretty in and you feel great in. That's what it's all about. So definitely maybe avoiding your very worst colors on your tops, or when you do wear them, wear a good lipstick in your colors. And how you dye your hair. Like if you're like a blonde at heart and you find out that like golden blonde isn't maybe your very best, then you might switch to like a little bit of an ashier blonde, you know. Yeah. There's a lot, just so much empowering knowledge, I think, in it. But yeah, a lot of people will have that first initial freak out. Even me, like I found all these colors. I used to hate brown. Like when I painted, I would never use the color brown.
Interesting.
Like that's how much I didn't like it. Now it's like one of the colors I wear all the time. So it's interesting. That's what I always tell people to like, maybe thrift or get a less expensive item and try out a color and just wear it around a couple of days and see what you think, because you might have some sort of childhood association with that color or something. And it's one thing to color like on a hanger, but it's another thing seeing how it interacts with your features. And a lot of people have grown to actually love a lot more colors in their palettes than they originally did through just trying it on and getting lots of compliments when they're out. I mean, let's just be real.
Who doesn't love a good compliment? Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, so fun. I like it. I like that we can, again, it can be these little baby steps, and it can be small things, small changes that we make that can make a big impact. And I think the same in our homes as well. So what advice would you have for someone who's listening to this and they're like, okay, this sounds interesting. What is one thing that they can start doing today to boost their confidence?
So something that like if you're saving up or it's out of the budget to do a color analysis for you, something that I recommend is kind of mimicking our process. So makeup free, natural light, hold different colors across your shoulders from your closet and snap a selfie, like all in the same sitting. So grab like 12 different things, take pictures of it, screenshot your camera roll, and send it separately to 3 people who shoot you straight and ask them, what are your 3 favorite colors on me in this set? And what are the 2 you like the least? And where the consensus is going to be true, because other people can see it easier than we can. So if you wanted to take a color step soon, you could do that today, send it off, and like probably have a little bit more clarity. But the other confidence step is just to do the face test. Like I said, just try on things from your closet in the mirror and which things light you up. It's crazy how like some people, even when they find their palette, maybe they're early on in it, and they'll show a picture of themselves on Instagram and it's not actually a color in their palette. Like I can tell that from looking at the color, but they're smiling and like, look how good I look in this color. And who gives a crap about whether it's actually in their palette? Like they feel good in it and it just is magnetic. It's always like that when you just are feeling happy. You know, if you have kids and you're feeling happy and your kids come home from school, they just pick up on it and everybody's happy around you. So just starting to tune into what you actually like on you and what makes you feel the most you by just playing around and having like a day where you just test things in your closet against that and wear some of those outfits out. Maybe you haven't worn it in a while because it feels like, oh, there's no reason to wear a dress out to here, but like just try it and see if it makes any impact.
Love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, Lindsey, where can people find you? I know they're going to want to connect. I know they're going to want to learn more about that audio course, all that kind of stuff. So where can they find you?
Yeah, the best place to do a deep dive is on my Instagram at created with a D, created colorful. And that's going to be where you see all the fun stuff. And I think you'll like the reels. People like to binge those. And then we have our website, createdcolorful.com. That's where you'll find our one where you can buy everything, but also where you'll find our blog that has our capsules for every season that might give you some inspo if you kind of have an idea about your colors. So
love it. All right. And before I let you go, I want to ask you 3 rapid fire questions. And so the first one is, what does clutter-free mean to you?
I instantly had this feeling of like stress relieving. My apartment in New York gets very, with kids, it's just so easy for there to be stuff everywhere. And just having empty spaces just makes me feel like I can breathe. And it's usually worth it to me to discard something, to give it away if it's adding to that emotional feeling of like, I have no place to breathe in here.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. All right. Number 2, what's making you happy right now or in this season of your life?
I was just admiring my son's artwork the other day. He likes to draw monsters, and I mean, just terrifying stuff straight out of Tim Burton. His mind just works like that. He has this one monster called a ghost zombie drippy jam that kind of has like a cat face with like 1 tooth on top and 2 on bottom. And it's like this. And he made like 21 of them in a row and cut them out and put them on the wall. And the other day, or one of my followers mentioned that I should turn it into a stuffed animal. They have websites where someone can do that. So I just sent that off. So I'm really excited to get this little monster and a stuffed animal for him. I think it's going to be fun.
That's going to be super fun. Oh, I love that. All right. And number 3, what's a goal you have for yourself this year?
That's great. I saw this question. I was like, my first gut reaction was like, oh, I don't want to put another standard. I'm already like, I don't want a resolution. And then that kind of like helped me know that my goal is to just enjoy where I am a little more, like, is there a way I can do this that brings me a little bit more joy, like a little bit more relaxing, a little bit more, I don't know, being outside and being inspired and not making my goals so overwhelming, really.
Oh, I love that.
A non-goal. Enjoy the non-goal moments.
Hey, but it's a really fun moment to say like, no, you're being super authentic to yourself. I love that, of just like, you do have a goal in there, hidden in there, even if it's kind of an ungoal. But yeah, just to be more present, right? And really enjoying where you are, because you've obviously worked really hard to get to where you are now. And so your goal is just to be able to enjoy that and just, take a moment. I love it. Well, Lindsey, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and sharing and making me excited to go look in my closet again. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you for being so vulnerable. Like, that's not easy to share the areas that are currently a little hard for you. And so I really love that. And I feel like your listeners are going to really benefit and relate.
Awesome. Well, thanks. All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Well, another good one. And I am really happy Lindsey asked me the question about why I don't like shopping. Because to be honest, I knew all those feelings were there, but until you have to say them out loud, even saying them to myself is different, right? Saying them out loud makes them real, makes me be able to then make a plan to make a change. So until that happens, it's kind of just sitting there eating away at me. So I really appreciate Lindsey helping me get a little vulnerable on this show and share a little bit of the behind the scenes. But I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. Was there anything that stuck out to you most? Have you done your colors? And if you have, what season are you? I would love to know. So comment on this post on Instagram, or you can send me a DM over there. I am at Wannabe Clutter Free, or you can come over to the Wannabe Minimalist family group and share with the community there. There will be a discussion thread, so come on in and join us there. You can also leave a review on Apple Podcasts, a comment on this episode on Spotify, or a comment on YouTube. And remember, if you know someone who could use a little help with the clutter in their homes, go ahead and share this episode with them. It just might be the thing that they need to hear today. Of course, special thanks to Lindsey for joining us on the show and sharing her tips and advice about color in our life. Remember, you can get more detailed show notes and all of her links by heading over to wannabeclutterfree.com/235. Again, that's wannabeclutterfree.com/235 to find out more about Lindsey. And with that, I hope you have an amazing day. Thank you for making us part of your weekly routine. I'm Deanna Yates, and you've been listening to Wannabe Clutter Free. I'll see you next week. Cheers.